President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has reviewed efforts to boost domestic production of petroleum and gas resources. President al-Sisi met with Prime Minister Madbouli, Central Bank Governor Abdullah, Finance Minister Koshuk, and Petroleum Minister Badawi to emphasize the need to develop newly discovered wells and incorporate them into the production plan. They also discussed boosting exploration activities in Egypt's onshore and offshore areas and reviewed efforts to attract private sector investment in the petroleum and gas sectors. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni have discussed enhancing joint cooperation and exploring broader opportunities for bilateral relations across various fields. Ambassador Mohammed al-Shenawi, the official spokesman, stated that the call also covered the East Africa and Horn of Africa regions. Al-Shenawi also said that President al-Sisi reviewed Egypt's efforts to support Sudan during its crisis, advocate for a ceasefire, protect civilians, and ensure access to humanitarian aid, which was appreciated by the Ugandan president. The call also addressed Somalia, where both leaders emphasized the importance of Somalia's sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity, and stressed the need for coordination on the African Union mission's role in supporting the Somali government. Egypt's UN representative Osama Abdel Khaled has accused Israel of targeting civilians and destroying Gaza's infrastructure, including hospitals such as Kamal Adwan, further exacerbating the healthcare crisis. Abdel Khaled condemned the blockade of northern Gaza, urging Israel to facilitate the delivery of medical and food supplies. He also called for an immediate ceasefire, accountability for Israel's ongoing actions, and an end to attacks on hospitals. Egypt's UN representative emphasized that Israel's forced displacement policies would not compel Palestinians to abandon their land. An Egyptian plane has arrived at Damascus International Airport carrying 15 tons of medical and relief supplies, including tents, blankets, food, and medicine. This shipment, part of Egypt's ongoing support for Syria, aims to help alleviate the difficult conditions Syrians face. The Syrian Red Crescent will oversee distribution. More aid is expected to follow, reflecting Egypt's humanitarian commitment to reconstruction efforts and assisting friendly nations during crises, as emphasized by recent UN calls for urgent support in Syria. The Syrian embassy in Cairo has announced granting free flight tickets for Syrian nationals to return to Syria. The embassy also stated that it is providing free authentication of documents for Syrian citizens, in addition to extending the validity of passports by 6 months for free, available once. This initiative comes as part of implementing the directives of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates, Anas al-Shaybani. Minister of Defense Lieutenant General Abdelmajid Saqr has inspected Alexandria's naval base and met with several personnel from the forces. The Minister of Defense discussed with several specialized crews how they carry out their tasks and their proficiency with the modern combat systems used by the naval force. The Commander-in-Chief also conveyed President al-Sisi's greetings and expressed pride in the naval force's efforts to protect the nation's borders and coasts. The Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources has denied false reports circulating about a delay in gas production from the Zohr gas field. In a statement, the Egyptian Ministry of Petroleum firmly denied these claims, emphasizing that work with Eni is progressing according to the previously approved schedule. Additionally, the ministry asserted its legal right to take action against entities spreading false information that could harm the country's economic interests. Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation Henny Swelem has affirmed Egypt's commitment to supporting development efforts in Nile Basin countries. During his meeting with leaders from the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation, Swelem reviewed Egypt's cooperation with Nile Basin and African countries, including the AWARE initiative focused on water and climate change. He highlighted Egypt's efforts to strengthen cooperation with Nile Basin nations through projects benefiting their citizens, as well as the country's role in AMCO, which continues until 2025. Minister of the Public Business Sector, Mohammed Shimi, has inspected the progress of work at the Egyptian General Company for Tourism and Hotels, EGOTH, and the Egyptian Cotton Hub, EC, the commercial arm of the holding company for cotton, spinning and weaving. Minister Shimi emphasized the importance of continually updating and developing hotel assets, improving and diversifying tourism programs and services, and enhancing service quality to meet international hospitality standards. Egyptian Grand Imam of Al-Azhar Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib and a high-level delegation from Al-Azhar have visited Pope Theodorus II, the Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of the See of St. Mark, to wish him and all Coptic Christians a very Merry Christmas. The Grand Imam also called for an end to the tragedy and Israeli aggression against the people of Gaza, which has lasted for more than 15 months. For his part, Pope Theodorus II emphasized that peace cannot be achieved while hearts are filled with sin and evil and in the absence of sincerity and honesty. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Health Khaled Abdel Ghaffar has directed the swift completion of development work for medical facilities affiliated with the General Authority for Hospitals and Educational Institutes. During a meeting of the Board of Directors of the General Authority for Hospitals and Educational Institutes, the Deputy Prime Minister was briefed on the authority's activities and achievements from January to December of 2024. He emphasized the need to accelerate the completion of ongoing construction and development work and medical units in accordance with the established timetable. He also highlighted the Ministry of Health's commitment to supporting and enhancing healthcare services in educational medical facilities. The Ministry of Health and Population has announced the launch of 137 free medical convoys in all governorates of the Republic during the month of January 2025. The official spokesperson for the Ministry of Health and Population, Hossein Abdel Ghaffar, added that the ministry provided medical services to 2,179,109 citizens through 2,080 convoys during the past year. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has extended congratulations to the visually impaired on the International Braille Day. General Supervisor of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, Iman Karim, announced the completion of the first phase of the Improving the Integration of Persons with Disabilities project in collaboration with JICA, the Ministry of Communications, Bibliotheca Alexandria, and the National Library. The second phase, which will last 36 months, is now underway. Business Insider Africa has highlighted Egypt as one of the top 10 travel destinations in Africa for 2025. The continent's rich diversity is captivating both tourists and investors, offering an array of unforgettable experiences. Egypt, renowned for its ancient wonders, stands out with iconic attractions such as the Pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, the Valley of the Kings in Luxor, and the majestic Abu Simbel temples.